Assalamualaikum everyone. Wonderful morning, fantastic afternoon, and marvelous evening. I'm Nahil Forest Valley, and I welcome you all to today's interview session. We have a special guest with us today, someone who has achieved remarkable accomplishment and made a significant impact in the field. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Renatta Ramlogan. Renatta, we are honored to have you here today, and we are excited to learn more about your inspiring life journey. Could you start by sharing a little bit about yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Renatta Ramlogan. As mentioned before, I'm very honored to be here and thank you for the opportunity. Um, I am the founder of the RAND Foundation, a US Youth Ambassador, UNICEF Child Rights Ambassador, as well as recently I became a scholar for the University of Pennsylvania and BP, which is British Petroleum. So that's just a short introduction on me, but there's a lot more to me, which will be revealed in this interview.
Interesting introduction. So, my first question is that can you tell us more about your passion for human rights and ambassador?
I'm sorry, Manahil, you just broke up a little
Can you
bit.
hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us Okay. Can you tell us more about your passion for human rights, particularly the rights of children? How did you become involved in this area and advocacy?
Okay, so basically, children rights have always been important to me because I think children are so innocent, they don't have people to protect them all the time. And some children grow up without parents, without adults around them. And I think that was just something that really struck my heart. So I started to get more involved with it by speaking up for them and participating in small events, micro level events in my country that focused on the rights of children through my country's gender child affairs unit. And from there, it developed into me becoming an actual UNICEF child rights ambassador. And that just made a huge impact on my journey as an official child rights ambassador. And I continue my work focused on children because I think they are very important in our world today, and we have to protect them at all costs.
All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay, my second question is that as a children rights ambassador, what specific initiatives or projects have you been involved in to promote and protect the rights of children?
So it's very difficult to
Hmm.
pinpoint one specific project because there are a lot. But right now, I'm working on a project with the Pan American Health Organization as well as the World Health Organization to focus on children's rights in mental health so that they can be mentally healthy as well as physically healthy. And that's just the main one right now. Previously, I've done ones that focused on child labor. I conducted my own research for UNICEF that is now published focused on their rights that I conducted throughout the Caribbean. So it's a plethora of different categories, but right now it's focused on mental health.
All right. You have been featured on television with various organizations. Can you share some of your experience and the impact those appearances had on raising awareness about children's rights?
So the television is very vast. A lot of people
Hmm.
watch
Yes.
television. So I think I was able to reach a lot of people and get the message across, especially about child labor. That's probably one of my most known videos in my country. And it was able to reach a lot of people, but there was a lot of negativity I received from it because a lot of people didn't really understand the concept of child labor, so they kind of took it in the wrong way. And I think it impacted me in the sense that I was kind of influenced to do more things focused on children and not just focus on child labor. That was like the beginning, and now I'm still partaking in it, so it kind of really influenced me to do more.
Great. So, my next question, being a member of the Pan American Health Organization Mental Health Committee, what are some of the key issues you have focused on how do you invent and improving mental health support for children and young people.
So in the Caribbean, not a lot of attention is given to mental health when it comes to children. So recently, we have been focusing on raising awareness for it and making it more known that children can suffer from mental illnesses such as PTSD, anxiety, and depression, etc. Um, and that is the main issue that we have, the fact that people don't know about it. We need to raise awareness for it, which is what we're focusing on. That's the aim of the project, especially parents. We are trying to encourage parents to educate themselves so that their children can grow up and be mentally and emotionally healthy.
All right. So, could you tell us more about your role as an international advisor and Trinidad's Home Miss, the leading organization, the Children's Aid in Switzerland? How does the position contribute to your advocacy effort?
Petroleum is an amazing organization. It focuses on children aid, specifically in, in Switzerland, in the EU. But the reason why I joined and why I took up the role is because I wanted to get more involved on a global scale when it comes to children. So my role is to bring what I learned from that organization to all of my roles in my own country. And I think the opportunities I've gotten from that organization has widened my perspective of child rights, not just in the Caribbean, but to Switzerland and to the EU specifically. I've learned about many other things. Like I plan events with them that focus on children's rights. Right now, we're in the talks of planning a LGBTQ event so that children would understand what that is and decide, what their stance on it is, and it's just an all-rounded approach to children's rights.
Great. As a past youth judge of the Trinidad of Tobago Film Festival, how did you evaluate films from a youth perspective? What criteria did you consider, and what insight did you gain from the experience?
What I considered in the film festival is the impact it made on me. I was working alongside five other young students from my country, I believe, who all had different perspectives. So that posed an issue to us because we couldn't decide on one. We were also different, but we all agreed that it had to make an impact on us for us to give it the youth award. And at the end of it, we did not choose the one I wanted to choose, which kind of made me really upset because I really wanted my film to win because it was one of the greatest films I've ever watched. And the what I've learned from that whole experience is that we may not agree on things, but it will work out because the film that I wanted to win, it did make an impact on a different audience. It just wasn't youth focused. So working in that group gave me the opportunity and the experience to learn from different people and different perspectives. And it also taught me to just be more open minded. And I think that's what young people need to do nowadays. They need to learn to be more open minded and talk to other people. So that was great.
That's awesome. Your research paper on the Sustainable Development Goals and Post COVID Environment has published in UNICEF EC 2023 magazine. Can you summarize the main findings and recommendations from your paper?
So the paper was very complex. It took a lot of work. And the main findings were that children are suffering from many things, but the root cause of all of the issues that they're dealing with is actually poverty in the Caribbean and the lack of mental awareness, etc., especially in the pandemic, because that's where I was focused on. I focused on how COVID-19 has affected their sustainability and their lives. And it focused on poverty. That was the root cause. That was the main finding. And how what I recommended in my paper was that governments take a unified approach versus a more economic approach. A unified approach would mean they focus on children as well as economic growth. So they don't just focus on generating income, but they focus on what children are dealing with every day, you know? And that's really important to me. So that's why my research paper recommended that.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. So, first of all, congratulations on becoming a British Petroleum and University of Pennsylvania scholar. Or how has this scholarship opportunity enhanced your understanding of the energy sectors in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Germany? Have you identified any potential solution or innovations for a more sustainable energy future?
Okay, thank you for congratulating me. So far, I've learned a lot, especially on social impact, because that's what the program is focused on, social impact that can be done using the energy sector. I have not visited Belgium. I'm actually visiting Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany in a month. So I will be there for a month to learn more about it and get a hands on experience. But right now, I know that they are very advanced. And compared to a lot of the other regions in the world, they adopt a different approach to energy and the way energy is produced. As in, they don't focus on CO2 emissions, they try to reduce that. Which is why I chose Germany, because it's one of the best places to be when it comes to the energy sector. When it comes to solutions, as you had asked, the the solution to me would be people working towards carbon neutrality. Recently, the United Nations has decided that this is a goal to achieve by 2030 to reduce carbon emissions due to not being able to afford renewable energy for every country and every sector of the world. And this simply means we need to plant more trees, more people need to be involved, and more action needs to be taken. And I think that is a key solution. And if everybody adopts it, we might just be able to reach carbon neutrality and reduce all carbon emissions by 2030.
Okay, that's great. With your involvement in multiple clubs and positions of leadership at your school, how do you manage your time effectively and balance your academic pursuits with your extra curriculum activities?
I think having a balance is really important, as you mentioned. But knowing what you're doing and liking what you're doing is really important. Because for me, I don't see it as a challenge to balance all of it because I love what I do. You know, I love being involved, I love leading. And I think if you don't love leading, don't put yourself in a position to do it. If you don't love a certain activity, don't do it. And I love a lot of things. I have different interests, so I try to be involved as much as I can. And that is my advice to anybody who wants to be balanced. Just do what you love, and it'll be fine.
Thank you for sharing your advice. So let's move on to next question. In your experience as a president of several clubs at your school, what have been some of the most rewarding moments of or achievements? How have these leaderships roles helped shape your skills and character?
I think the roles have been rewarding in themselves by people voting for me. I wouldn't get these roles without the support of my school community. And I think having that support is very important. If you don't have that support, you won't lead effectively. And I think that's something that I learned, the importance of a community rather than an individual effort. So that's why when I'm making decisions, I try to consider everybody's thoughts. And if I can't, I just go with what I think is right and what I feel in my heart is the best option to suit everybody, not just myself. Um, it's rewarding in the sense that I get to learn and I get to help. So learning and helping mainly. So yeah,
Oh, interesting. So, as a member of the membership committee for the Rotary International Youth Network, what strategies do you employ to engage and motivate young people to actively participate in community service and humanitarian effort?
so Rotary International caters for those kind of people. So we what we do is we normally plan a lot of events so that the global community could meet up on their time and get to make new friends and learn more about what Rotary is all about, which is basically community service and giving back to where they're from and to the world in a positive manner. That's the main goal of all my work with Rotary International as of now. And again, it's youth focused because I think the youths are very important, and that's what my work with Rotary International is focused on.
All right. Could you share an example of challenging situation or obstacles you faced during your advocacy work and how you overcome it? What did you learn from that experience?
So a challenge that I had like a lot of was dealing with negative comments from people. I think it's really hard sometimes to put that out of your mind because people can be really mean, and it's not really the easiest environment to be in. You know, the world isn't the best right now. So people are going to say a lot of rude things. I think I've dealt with racism, I dealt with classism, I dealt with a lot of just rude comments, hypocrites, all of that. That was really hard on me like about a year ago. But what I did to overcome that was I just found a way to not listen anymore because I'm like, I'm doing it for a reason and it's not going to please everybody. So I think if somebody else is out there watching this and they are dealing with that negativity right now, just know that you are doing it not for those people. You're doing it for the people it's going to help. And that's my advice and that's my main focus, helping people.
You are doing great. Thank you for sharing explanation. So, let's move on to next question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What are some of your favorite hobbies and activities that you enjoy outside of your academic and advocacy pursuits?
So I actually have a lot of hobbies. One of my main hobbies that I've taken up quite recently is playing the ukulele. Um, I think instruments are so nice. Music is so beautiful, and it's so pleasing, especially when you create it. And so I started playing the ukulele recently, as well as I love to paint. It's such a nice artistic way to express yourself, and I also really love poetry. So those are my three main hobbies.
Interesting hobbies. So, can you share a memorable travel experience or a place that has had a significant impact on you? What made it special?
Okay, this is a tough question, but I think it would be the most recent one. Recently, I traveled to the twin island of my homeland, Tobago, um, to meet with the Prime Minister of Tobago and talk to him about some things regarding my country's state. And that was quite amazing. That was very thrilling to actually meet somebody of such great power, you know, and actually conversate with them and get to talk to them about things that drive them and what drives me and how we can work together to make my country a better place. That was very pivotal so far in my life. It was a few months ago and it keeps me going up till
And
this day.
it keeps. All right. Who are some of your role models or individuals who have inspired you in your personal and professional journey? How have they influenced your aspiration and values?
So Michelle Obama is at the top of my list. I'm a big fan of Michelle Obama. Ever since I watched a documentary about her and how her life story, she came from poverty and she was able to still make it to the top and she worked really hard to be so influential and she helps a lot of colored young women who want to thrive in the world. And that is exactly what I want to do. I want to help people, but children specifically. She really just touches my heart and she's like my number one. But I think if I had to choose another person, it would probably be like Malala because she's very brave. You know, she
Oh,
took a bullet and she's an amazing woman, an amazing representative, and
yes,
very inspiring, very inspiring. So those are my two. Those are my top two.
great. So, how do you stay motivated and maintain a positive mindset when faced with challenges or setbacks?
I personally, I think I just have to focus my head. I focus. I really try to silence all of the distractions, all of the people that are trying to, distract me from what I want to do. Because I think if you know exactly what you want to do, you have to keep
Hmm.
at it, because a lot of people are going to be coming at you and try to ruin your chances of reaching a certain place that you want to reach. But you have to decide, and you have to know that you want that for yourself, and you're never going to give up. And I think never giving up keeps me going. Like every time I'm in a situation, every time I'm sad, every time I'm down, every time I'm disappointed, I'm like, you know what, I'm not giving up, I have to keep going. So yeah, definitely don't give up.
That's great. So, with your involvement in multiple clubs and position of leadership at your school, how do you manage your time effectively and balance your academic pursuits with your activities? I think I asked you this question before.
I think you asked me the one on how I
Huh,
balance it,
I think
but not
yes.
with the
So
time. I can
I can I can ask you another question.
yeah, go ahead.
Could you share an example as a member of membership? नहीं ये उफ,
It's okay, don't worry, take your time.
sorry. What are your further goals and aspiration in the field of environmental studies and child rights advocacy? How do you plan to make a lasting impact in these areas?
I have a lot of interests. I have environmental sciences, I have child rights, and then diplomacy and all of that. But I think my main goal would be able to reach somewhere on the international scale with these goals and combine them. I want to combine my love and appreciation for protecting children and my love for the environment and make that a career. I'm not as sure exactly what job that will be. That might be a global ambassador, that might be a CEO, that might be a lawyer. I'm not sure as yet, but I'm just trusting in my opportunities and what I'm doing right now.
Okay, all right. With your diverse range of experiences and accomplishment, how do you invention leveraging your knowledge and skills to inspire and empower other young individuals who are passionate about making a difference in their communities?
I think encouragement is that word, that one word that just answers that question. Encouraging other young people to do it as well. If I'm doing something, I would, and somebody's looking at me and is like, "Wow, you're doing this great thing." I always want to be like, well, you can do it too. Just have to work towards it and find your way somehow to do it. Because I've been in a lot of situations where people have just sat and watched me do something, and then they would be like, "How do you do all of this?" And then I'm just like, "You have to do it yourself. You have to find that way. I can't really tell you how to do it. You just have to find your way." And that encouragement, just encouragement to go after what they want and keep trying, because you never know.
Thank you for sharing an amazing answer. So, how do you see the intersection between environmental studies and human rights, particularly children's rights? In what ways can environmental issues impact the rights and well being of children, and how can these challenges be addressed effectively?
Okay, so that's a really good question. I
Thank you.
think environmental science and children rights, everything that is going on in the world right now is due to environmental problems such as climate change. Sea level rise leads to rise in disasters, CO2 emissions. All of these things are leading to poverty and reduced levels of life for children. And if we reduce these environmental issues, it gives them a pathway to actually thrive, because in order for children to thrive, they need a healthy planet. And that is what a lot of people don't realize. They're always on, okay, but um gas makes a lot of money, so let's focus on CO2, you know but this is costing our planet, the same place children have to live and they have to inherit. How are they going to thrive off of our unhealthy world? How are they going to thrive with no food on their planet, no water, no trees? That is the intersection between both of them. That's why I am pursuing both of them. And I think the solution to that is very very broad. It won't come now. It won't come now. It's going to take efforts from everybody. It can't just come from one person. But I think what is important is that leaders are excellent and they focus on children, and then that would solve all problems.
Thank you for sharing. So, thank you, Renatha, for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us today. Your dedication to promoting human rights, particularly the rights of children, and your passion for environmental studies is truly commendable. Your experience as a child rights ambassador, your involvement with various organizations, and your published research paper highlights the significant impact you have made at such a young age. Your leadership, advocacy, and commitment to making a difference serve as an inspiration to us all. So, I appreciate your valuable time and the knowledge you have imparted during this interview. We have no doubt that your future endeavors will continue to contribute to positive change and leave a lasting impact.
Thank you so much. This was really great. I hope you have a great day.
Once again, thank you for being our esteemed guest. We wish you continued success in all your future endeavors. So, thank you
Thank you.
so
Same to
much.
you.
Have a
Same to you.
wonderful day.
Same to you.
Bye.